What's up, guys? Happy midweek to you. I hope you're having a great start to the week so far, and welcome back to Stellaris multiplayer with myself. And he's here, he's present. The charges were never proven. It's Corrant. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks. You just need a good lawyer. That's all you need.
Well, nothing sticks to you. You're like human Teflon. We are in the midst of a few crises. Mine are quite acute. I'm trying to catch up to the League of Terran Planets in terms of social development, that is, society research, engineering research, physics research. I should point out as well that a new patch for the game came out last night or this morning. I don't know, it happened when I was at work, so we will be seeing some slight changes to the interface. There's been a bit of an AI rebalance, and we should get better performance in a few areas. You can also now manage sectors from the outliner toolbar on the right hand side. Just a little fun fact for anyone who's playing along.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah, I mean, I did aim to include more fun than that, but they didn't give me a lot to work with. So I'm in the midst of an expansion over here that's making the top end of my empire look slightly like a dick. Speaking of dicks, the League of Terran Planets is growing a dick out to the right-hand side as well.
It is. It's more turd-shaped at the moment, but you know, we're going to get some girth going and try to make it more phallic.
It's all about the girth, man. Everyone knows that. Our big concern at the moment is the United Yax Kolok Imperium, who have got a bit big for their boots, and aside from swallowing up another empire, they've now picked up this seemingly useless system to the south of the Glare. Now, the Glare have scouted it so we can see it, and I can see it contains 2 minerals.
Yeah, I don't understand why they took that system either. It might just be is it a cut-off point for a hyperspace lane on your screen?
Yes, it is, but it doesn't cut off the Glare. So I don't understand why they would do it unless they just want to get a position on that and that dust clouds area to the south there. Galactic South, smart arses. I know there's no south in space. Do you want to give us a rundown on what's going on for you, and people can watch me tinker with my ship designer for a minute?
Yes, I want a war. I want more territory. So we're going to this match. The Bothrians keep on trying to get a war going against the Cracks Royal Star Principality again, but they keep on wanting everything. I can't actually declare a war with them because I've got a treaty with them, because it was my war that began it, and so when they surrendered, then I can't go to war with them. You might have to be the one, in fact, Zero, who declares war and divvy up the planets accordingly.
I can live with the great pressure you've just placed upon my shoulders.
Apart from that, I need to this episode get another colony going. It'll put me. I'm at 5 out of 5 colonies, but I've got enough resources so that I won't really be penalised too badly for having an additional colony. And so I just need to get another to stop the Aztanis from growing any further into my space.
Now, something I should bring up to you before we proceed any further is that there has been a rebalance in the game to the pacifist and the xenophobe, xenophile attributes that makes them much more stronger. That wasn't a proper sentence, so my apologies for murdering English, but basically the fact that I am a pacifist xenophile state means that I'm going to suffer from having closed borders at any point, and I'm going to extra piss people off by being a bit of a warmonger. Shall we unpause the game, or else nothing will happen? Interesting relationship there between action and the pause button. Now we do have to, of course, have a State of the Union review here. I'm going to make this pitch. Bear with me. We are now the Noel Edmonds Federation. Beards are mandatory.
Again. When did that name come up?
Just this second, beards are now mandatory, very much like an oppressive Muslim regime. And I have got some space whales hanging out in my system. That's cool.
Noel Edmonds is very much a man nowadays who looks like a person going to a fancy dress party as Noel Edmonds.
Yeah, he's sort of become
Parody of himself nowadays.
Exactly. I didn't think it was necessary. It didn't strike me as something that was immediately possible, but he has become a mockery of himself, which is a bit of a talent, to be honest. Now, I need to improve my my starports, or else I can't build all the fancy new stuff I've unlocked. How are you going on the battleship front?
Well, at the moment our technology is... we've got the ability to create battleships. I think the starport in my primary... Yeah, the starport in Trump Prime, Terra Prime, is being upgraded, so we'll be able to create battleships. But I definitely need to have a look at redesigning my ships, because sometimes the computer do a very bad job at doing that.
Yeah, and I found that I was actually running with a lot of my technology out of date for quite some time, because I'm negligent and not fit for the job I've been given. That said, I still haven't finished upgrading everything. I've unlocked some new power plants, which should enable me to make everything better. So let's do that. I'm also running shields that are 2 levels below what I'm capable of fielding, so I don't really see why I haven't addressed that either. Again, incompetent. I need to improve both my destroyer classes. It was pointed out by myself to myself that the reason my destroyers maybe aren't so good is they have been named the Decimator class, which means, you know, if we're being petty as we should be, that it kills only 1 in 10 of everything that it attacks. Not a great name, really, for a weapon that's supposedly a weapon of mass destruction. I've unlocked point defense as well, but I haven't encountered anybody who's actually using missiles yet. Have you seen any? Have you encountered anybody bothering with missiles, really?
I think that the Glia do and I do. Apart from that.
So you are fielding missiles?
Yes.
Alright, so the technology is in our area at least, because if you've got it, then chances are that the people around us also have it. Now, what can I do here? Yeah, that didn't work in my favour, really. Man, it's so hard keeping my technology relevant.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend another influence point and build a frontier outpost. Then I'll have 4 altogether. I can probably look to dismantling one of the old frontier outposts.
I didn't know this, but apparently certain kinds of armour use power.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Especially something like...
That doesn't make a great deal of sense to me. Right, I'm not going to mess around anymore. I just need to really quickly update the Blue Streak class, and I'm sorry to everyone, I know this is dull watching me work my way through this, but kinda has to happen, or else all my things will die, and then you'll be even more bored. That looks good to me.
You got some rivalries set up so that you can gain some more influence?
I sure have. Problem is, it's really hard to read the greater political situation. That's something I wanted to ask you about, because we know we've got our little alliance, and we know that the Tubran are an easy target, the Kraxrels we have to get rid of. The Aztanis look a bit feisty, but they seem to be dealing with some problems of their own at the moment, plus they're in conflict with the Yazgavaz. For me, I really need to get rid of the Eurasian Union, because they obviously don't like me, and we share a massive border.
I just keep on thinking of the Cardassian Union whenever I look at them. They're almost spelled the same.
Yeah, it's got that vibe going on, hasn't it?
My opinion for declarations of rivalries is to look to the other end of the galaxy and try to find anybody who's similar on par to you, not in an alliance with somebody or inferior, and then make a declaration of rivalry with them, because then you're kind of safe that they're not going to be too aggressive on you. They're not going to be around the corner from you.
That is true. What I'm worried about though is sort of the mid to late game, when we have to maybe renegotiate some of these relationships. Oh, hold on. The Kraxros Star Principality has declared war on the Tebran Imperium. That's a ballsy move for someone who's just been decked in 2 wars.
Does that mean the Astanis are going to be attacking them now as well?
That's a very good point. Let me take a look. What's the political situation of the Tebran? No, they are independent, so... Yeah, this is a straight up fight.
Then I
say
want
we
to
let
war
them...
with the Tebran Imperium as well. I want to get there first, actually.
Oh, I was going to say, why don't we let the Kraxros and the Tebran fight it out, and then we go in and murder the weakened winner?
That would be a good idea.
Oh no, Governor Roy Carpenter has died at the age of 98. Roy, no. Oh, that is awful. Roy? Well, there's only one thing for it. I'm going to have to hire another Roy. I don't think we can be without a Roy. Roid Rage. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking. We've got a lot of, at least in my empire, we've got a lot of people who do not like us very much at all. Interestingly, the Slurpanor Confederacy I have a really great relationship with, and they would be willing to join our alliance. However, they're at war with somebody. I don't know who that is. Let me see what we can get from each other. Oh, also, we got an email, by the way. I forgot to mention that. We got an email. It was pointing out that you and I... Hold on, I've just realised something. When did Beham stop being your system and start being the Kraxros's?
I think it was a mistake on my part when I was accepting their terms of surrender.
Ah, okay.
But
That
we'll
explains
be able to
that
take
then.
them out at another time.
No, I was... I got an email. It was talking about the different situations that we have, and that the first point was that I've been complaining a lot that I'm way behind and my empire's got problems, but I was told that actually the empire I'm building is sustainable in the long term. It's kind of a slow build on a stronger basis, whereas you have few options really in how you deal with your internal conflict, because either you come down really hard on them, which has its drawbacks and positive aspects on both sides, or you have to basically give in to them, and that puts you on the back foot because you're then forever stuck in a situation where you were at the mercy of a minority. What is the stance of Emperor Trump on
is going to give in to minorities?
Well, I didn't think so, but I mean,
Zero?
to some degree, it's worked for you, right, with those subterranean New Mexicans.
Those subterranean New Mexicans were good people. They were they just lived under the ground and came up starving, and we said, here, have some Trump steaks. What happened with the Obnal system where there were terrorists, I gave it back to them because the Bothrians already lived in that system, so I didn't fully own it. And they were just constantly destroying buildings. I was wasting huge influence points just trying to stop them from committing terrorist attacks, but they just carried on. And because my society refused to commit genocide, then that was a real problem. And so I couldn't purge them, which is usually an option. So I had to give the system back.
I mean, I'm just interested to see how that plays out for you in the long term, because it's worked for you quite well with the New Mexicans. And, you know, some of them are rapists and criminals, apparently, but some are also good people, is what I've heard.
I'm sure some of them are good people.
Man, that quote will go down in history as well. Let's not get into it. But I'm interested to see how that plays out for you, because it's worked well in this case, but as the email did point out, and thanks very much, Lucas, for sending that in, it doesn't always go in your favour, and when you've got a particularly strong minority, in your case it's the Tabran, right, that you've absorbed.
Yeah, we have there's a few migrant nation which I don't even own anymore. I think they are the.
Why don't you give us your ethnic breakdown?
If I go to my Empire tab, we have some Krausros. So we do have some Krausros immigrants, even though we don't actually own any of the planets anymore. And have any of the Tabranis because they've been given their planet of Schlagos. Sounds like a very cheap Irish whiskey or something back, and because they were just terrorists. But rest assured, we're just going to kill them one day. We're just going to annihilate them. Speaking of that, 2 of my leaders have just died in one go.
Of course they have. That's how the game works. Now,
and your science ships are useless without a leader.
Yes, they are, completely. That's what really held me back, actually. I went through a long period of serious trouble. I need to recruit leaders for my fleets as well. See, it's all go. It's all go in the Zeroan state, man. I'm going to build some more destroyers, and then I need... Yeah, that'll do. I'm trying not to outbuild myself, which I'm sure is a problem that you can relate to, right? Because you've covered all your tiles in sciencey things that do science.
Ships upgraded. Construction complete.
Yeah, it's science and energy. The science is costing me a fortune to maintain. Oh, another leader just died. Jesus Christ, what's going on?
Sounds about right.
You know, in this amazing futuristic world, people still die at like 72 or something.
Yeah, I would definitely in future get a longevity thing going on. That would definitely be something I'd work towards. How am I for food on my homeworld? Quite good, actually. Quite good. Oh, there's another war declaration going on. Who's this? Oh, sorry, was there a vote for war? I missed it. I was asleep.
There was a vote for war, but I voted against it. The Bothrians just want these planets for themselves, so I keep voting no.
Yeah, they're getting a bit big for their boots, aren't they, really?
And I have an empire, the League of Crossy Huvak, encroaching on my space quite badly.
Who the hell are they? I didn't see. Oh, I see. Wow, they are expansionist, aren't they?
I'm running, but I don't actually even have enough resources to build my
wow, they have a
frontier
lot
post.
of worlds. Have you seen?
Yeah.
Oh, something else that changed in the patch, by the way, is that the cost of deploying military stations dropped massively. Speaking of which, I have a military station to decommission. Done. So, what I'd suggest is a problem that a lot of people have, and a mistake that a lot of players make, is securing their frontiers, their borders, when warp drive can just work round it entirely. So I'd actually move to a position where you're deploying military stations just at key systems. And in fact, I'm going to design a new military station if I can. I can design a defense platform. Not quite what I was aiming for, but I'll take it. The maths in this game does not add up. It does not add up. How did it add 5 when I added 1, then add 7 for the next one? That doesn't... And I removed the shield and I've got a power surplus of 37. That doesn't make any sense.
Construction complete.
So now I should be -3, but I'm not for some reason. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. I'm going to remove one of these lasers.
Frontier outpost costs 200 influence points, which is quite a lot.
Oh yeah, not frontier, military.
Don't think I'm able to anywhere in a star system. I don't think I'm able to place one of those without it being in my territory.
Oh, I see. No, I was thinking you were, moving towards a position where you would want to defend yourself from encroachment that you can see coming.
No, at the moment, I definitely want to just keep expanding the borders. I need to keep building. People dying.
Okay, I'm with you
Leaders
now.
died in the last couple of minutes, and I've just had to spend all my influence replacing them. God damn it.
Right, what's going on for me? I need... man, I've got so much still to do. Never get a minute to me fucking self. Right. It needs a research station, so let's make that happen. And my science ship is surveying a new system, which hopefully has something good for us. The Slurpinor Confederacy are also making moves there. We also have to review, as we discussed, we have to review our position in regards to the Federation plan and whether we will be retaining that. Obviously, we talked last episode and you were feeling a little bit like it was holding us back.
What would the benefits be, do you think, of creating Federation?
Well, my understanding is that you can benefit in the sense that you have a Federation fleet which can draw upon the resources of all members. It just means it streamlines this process of making decisions, right? Because there's a rotating presidency, and when you're president, you basically call the shots. But it does mean when you're not president, you're sort of reducing your own sovereignty a little bit. It's the EU, man. It's the EU. That's your cue to rail against the EU.
Fucking EU. If anybody remembers that old phrase from another from a farming simulator.
Farming references and EU lols.
Now I've had my empire seems to be at a state in which it feels like it's getting out of control as well. The colonies are a major thing, but there is just no goddamn places that I can colonize. It's very annoying, actually.
Do you have any terraforming resources? Have you got terraforming technology?
I'll just check if I'm sure we researched that.
Because it reveals a strategic resource called terraforming gases, and you use that to terraform. You build a terraforming station.
I do have terraforming stations, but I cannot see that resource anywhere.
Okay, so you haven't got any in your system. Maybe... I mean, I don't have the technology yet, so I can't trade it with you. Because if I did, I would, because I've got no reason to expand right now.
Just need one planet, one nice planet.
Man, I really need to boost my energy credit income. Oh wow, I've got my first immigrants!
Where from?
Neo-Jazzy Jans. Neo-Jazzy Jans? What the hell are Neo-Jazzy Jans?
I don't know.
They sound very jazzy, whatever they are.
Election time in the Trump Empire.
And I guess
Bolton.
Trump wins. Oh wow, I'm actually going to run out of energy credits. Do you have any to spare at all?
I don't. I'm on minus 18 at the moment for energy credit supply, so I'm afraid I need mine. If you've got some minerals, then people are generally pretty happy to trade minerals for energy.
I've spent all my minerals on spaceships.
Oh god.
I'm a very poor judge of the right decisions. Let's get an admiral at least. Oh wow, I filled my mandate by accident. Completely by accident. I'm gonna get someone young. Courtney Barks. That's an admiral's name if ever I heard one.
Eve Bolton has been. I think there was a lot of British, specifically Northwest, like game developers in this game. God knows where they're based, but Eve Bolton is now the ruler of the Trump Empire. She's CEO.
You've got a CEO, so you've changed
No,
from Science Directorate,
like,
right?
Trump is always the God Emperor, but Eve Bolton is running the company at the moment.
It's good to have a clear hierarchy, and Trump is always at the top in the Trump Empire.
Cool. Oh, I can actually build a terraforming station some places.
I mean, the problem I've had, obviously, is that the slowly rotating golden statues of myself throughout the Zeroan state do put a bit of a drain on the treasury. But they have to rotate, or else how will I always face the sun?
That's exactly it.
It's a practical requirement.
Terraforming station allows you to change the class of a planet. Costs 150 minerals, no monthly maintenance. But
wow, I didn't know there was no monthly maintenance. Then
I'm wondering if I have to have colonized it already.
No, you don't. But you have to expand the technology. So your early technology won't be able to terraform every world. So it'll be the worlds nearest to your native preference, and then you can expand it outwards. It seems I've equipped my ships with a lot of torpedoes, and they aren't necessarily the best things for shooting down mining drones.
Updated. Hostile fleet engaged.
But you see what you can do, right? You can use the terraform technology to actually boost the systems already under your control. That's what I'd do. I have got a critical resource shortage. That cannot be good. I'm building power plants. What more do you want? Do you know, I think I got complacent. I was so well equipped for energy credits that I just didn't consider that I would ever run out. I was rocking like 2,000 at one point, no problem.
Dismantling some of my frontier outposts, and it hasn't changed my borders. I'm getting more influence, so I'll be able to replace those frontier outposts much further afield.
Fuck you, Void Cloud.
Now that's an extra 2. My borders have shrunk ever so slightly, but no systems are being threatened, so it doesn't really matter. And I need those credits.
I think sometimes it's good to it's good to have a smaller empire that's easier to manage and defend than it is to have something big. I mean, I know it runs counter to what I've been doing, but you know I'm stuck with the hyperspace network, so I had to expand earlier than I would like. Oh, the same. Oh, Joanna Preston. You're right. There's a Northwest theme going on here. Has been elected as Prime Minister.
Well, at least we know that Lancashire will reign supreme in the futuristic world of the future.
As if that was ever in doubt. In the grim depths of the dark future,
Yorkshire
everyone talks like
consigned
us.
to some moon colony somewhere, whilst Lancashire reigns supreme.
The Klingons are eradicated and made extinct for being soft, shandy-drinking southern ponces. And the only people that live in true honour aside from us are the Geordies.
That's what I love to do. I love to go into the social clubs you see around Lancashire that look like they were built and decorated in about 1955 and have had several fires that they've never bothered to clean up after. You go into one of those where there is a lot of, sort of working guys, and you ask the man behind the bar if they've got what range of Zinfandels they have, and just see what the reaction is.
I'd like a dry white wine and Perrier if you have it. I'm really annoyed that this hyperspace network problem is causing me serious issues. I wonder if the Cracks Ros will give me passage for civilian ships. Offer trade deal. Please? Wow, they really do not want to do that. And I'm afraid I can't offer them a non-aggression pledge because I can't promise to not be aggressive towards them. I'm finding worlds that I can colonize though, that's encouraging.
Oh, I'd grab them.
They're a little bit far out of my way, but maybe... Gives me some more ground space, I suppose. I don't know what I can do here. I really don't. Nothing I do seems to deal with this deficit problem. I've expanded all my power plants.
Anomaly found.
What about any empty tiles? Just shove, or even suppressing some food or minerals.
That's what I've been trying to do, but yeah, it's not looking good. I'm even using my fancy schmancy power plants. What can I do? What can I do? Yeah, I have to be here, I suppose.
Situation log updated.
Captain Patrice Dupont, that's not a very northern name. Commanding officer of the ZDV Thunderous, served with distinction during a recent engagement that took place in the Lassyria system. The Admiralty on Zeroa, recognizing the qualities of a promising young flag officer, have decided to promote the captain to the rank of full admiral. Free admiral for me! Boom. Make power happen, you fucks.
Even I've got a deficit going on power.
Well, I keep building power plants that are supposed to, like, give me enough power to cover the deficit, and the deficit's still there. I don't understand it.
I was going to get rid of some food stations, but most of the colonies are so huge now, they kind of need a lot of food. But I've just researched how to destroy volcanoes, and so...
You know what the answer to all this is, don't you? You know what doesn't need food?
Robots.
Robots.
Yeah, I'd like some robots now, actually, as well. I wish I had that. Do I have robots?
Robots were my biggest ethnic minority until quite recently. My demographics are now... I am 91% Zeroan, 5% robot, 2% Neo-Jazzyjan. Where the fuck did the Jazzyjans come from? Let's find out. Neo-Jazzyjans. They are avians. They are repugnant, extremely adaptive, and they prefer the Arctic, which is why they're moving in. But they're repulsive, which means no one likes them.
Why are they so repulsive?
I don't know. Apparently they're ugly, or they smell bad, or they've got some disgusting habits. I can only tell you what the game gives me to work with, but... I think I know what the problem is, actually. I've expanded my shipyards to make sure I've got the ability to, build ships. Foolish of me.
That was a silly move.
Construction complete.
Good job Patrice Dupont is so young, because I'm not going to be able to hire anyone new anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, despite it being all futuristic, life for mankind might still be just incredibly boring because, we'll say in the future of humanity, there's a big directive to build a colony ship. It's a colony ship. We're going to colonize a planet. All the people who start building that colony ship will be dead by the time it gets there.
Yeah, that is depressing as all shit. Although, did you see in the news, bit of space news in an episode here, did you see that NASA are actually, they've just begun, they've commissioned research into stasis.
System survey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's the same technology they use at the moment to deal with people who have had a heart attack or who are at risk of brain damage, where they supercool the body.
Oh.
And they're looking at ways to sort of
Research.
hibernate the majority of the crew and have the ship operated by a single person.
With a
which
little bit of genetic alteration, because, you can alter people's genes, and you can also introduce different DNA into organisms. Like there's a company which has created glow-in-the-dark trees using the DNA from glow-in-the-dark fungus. They've mixed that with this tree DNA to create glow-in-the-dark trees. So if we were able to take the genes which allow, say, amphibians to be frozen and stay, but still remain alive and the cells don't break down, then we could do it. Thing is possible with science.
It's funny you say that, actually, because you've known me quite a while. It's a bigger deal here than it ever was at home, but it's a source of much comment that I never wear a jacket, and I always mooch around in a t-shirt.
Yeah, you do. You do always wear a t-shirt and never tend to wear a jacket in general.
And yeah, because I always lose my jackets. That started when I lost my jacket in the back of a taxi when I was 17, and that was it. Jackets were just a burden to me. And I overheat too quickly, and, as a small, weird, sweaty little man, you don't want to overheat yourself. Anyway.
I'm going to put forwards an offer to our alliance to declare war on the Teb. I want that planet. Nobody's taken it yet, and I want it.
I'm down with that. I've got your back. And not just because you're militarily and technologically superior.
I'm just going to check if it'll mean that the Aztanis go to war with us as well. They're vassals of the Aztani League, so...
So yes, they would.
Oh, right. We can't do that then. What about the Tebran in Confederation?
But, what I was going to say was, how I got genetically tested, right? To make sure I was
yes,
human.
Yes, I saw that. You sent me the info and it was very good. I have to buy one of those for a relative for their birthday because they want to do it so much. I am Scottish ancestry, but in my family, there is a story that we're part Chinese.
I love that, comrade.
And so I'm going to get this DNA test and see if I am actually part Chinese. I have curly hair and green eyes, and don't look Chinese in the remotest bit.
Mate, I would love it. Please get that done, and please share with us the results.
But then if I am part, then I insist on being assumed as a full member of the Chinese community. I'm going to go to Chinese New Year and be like joining hands and stuff.
Yeah, you do it, man. You live your cultural heritage. But what I was going to say was, you can take your results, you can get the raw data, and you can run it through these additional tools. And there's a really powerful one that, I forget the name of it, but it basically looks at sort of the health effects of the genes you carry. And it gives you a sort of certainty score, because a lot of it is still theoretical and they're trying to figure it out through further research. But some stuff they're pretty sure on. And apparently, I carry a gene that they believe causes increased body temperature. So it tends to be common amongst people of Northern European origin, which you would kind of expect. So there you go, science, bitches. Now I don't need a jacket. There you go. It seems actually I've got some potentially habitable worlds within my borders that I've never noticed before now. There's a Gaia world in the system practically next to my homeworld that I haven't noticed before now.
What does Gaia world mean?
It means anybody can live on it, and it's got a whole bunch of bonuses, and they're super important.
Look at you.
Oh shit! Why didn't I notice that before? I'm such a gibbon.
Did that show up in the genetic test?
Yes, it did. You're part Chinese, and I'm like 32% gibbon. Which, you know, gibbon rights now, they're the most overlooked member of the ape family. No, I mean, I want you to get that test done, and then when we know for sure that you are part Chinese, I'm going to label you as a dangerous communist revolutionary. You must be stopped at all costs.
I think that the Chinese CCP probably have a rule that you have to be Chinese to be leader of the party. So who knows? I could be leader of China one day.
It's good to have an aspiration.
Then I'd have to take stances on Tibet and all sorts. And
yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to fit it in with your other stuff you've got going on, but I'm sure you'd find a way. You know, dinner with the president of France. You'd have to be nice to the French.
why?
But you know, but there are bonuses in
Why
there
do I
somewhere.
have to be nice to the French?
Well, it kind of goes with the territory, doesn't it?
Does it?
You know,
being Chinese?
like diplomacy 101 is don't be a dick.
No, not if you're Chinese. Not if you're the CCP. Not if you're the Chinese Communist Party. That's be a dick. To
Well,
everyone.
I won't even attempt to preach to you about your own your own people.
You're talking to me about it.
But you see, you have to go whole hog. You have to adopt a Chinese name. Oh man, we're gonna have so much fun with that. I'm suddenly involved because it interests me so much. Oh god damn it! One of my power plants doesn't have the right resources. Well, why did it let me build it then? I need more of that stone. You know, the black stone that makes power for some reason.
Mm.
Oh, for a second there, I thought I was in a race with somebody to claim a planet. It has actually happened to me in single player, where I've been building a frontier station to take a system, and I've got there like seconds before another ship that was building a frontier outpost, and I've claimed the system by fractions of seconds because both ships start building, and whichever one finishes first wins. So you can actually win if you have any boost to your construction speed at all. But colonization is happening, which isn't going to help me really, apart from claiming some territory that I don't need.
Yes,
I'm
I
playing
can
this in a
finally
funny
build I'm just going to build a frontier outpost very quickly.
Right, do you want to, while you're doing that, do you want to give us a rundown on any technology you've unlocked, anything that's been happening? Because we are due to wrap up the episode, I think.
I have been trying all episode to attempt to get some technology to allow me to live on other planets, but it's just not offered. I honestly don't really understand how the technology is offered sometimes, because you know, it seems almost part random that you have to wait for it to come around. Because I've been offered the technology where you can redevelop a planet so that you can live on it before, so it could be a desert world or whatever. But it doesn't come around as often. But we've got we'll wrap it up just after this outpost is built. And then I've got another colony ship. I'm surveying the planets in the area just to see if I could colonize one of them. I might go down here to this sector, just down Ishnor, which should cut off anybody, I'm pretty sure, pretty well. Yeah, I'm going to go get that colony down here. Is that a big planet? I like big planets.
I like big planets, and I cannot lie.
Yeah, I'm taking this. It's a desert world, so I can colonize this desert world. It's 60% habitability, but then we're going to be able to upgrade with terraforming technology.
Wow, I have been contacted by some space foxes.
Hot women.
I'm sure that's good in some way. No, unfortunately not. But they are friendly towards me, so that's good.
Some space MILFs.
No space MILFs, unfortunately.
I long for the days when MILF used to just mean mentally ill person I'd like to fuck.
Yeah, it was a simpler time, wasn't it? A simpler age.
What's that race then? Oh my god! I've just zoomed out, and the galaxy is a swarming.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to draw your
life.
attention to. We've had a change of government in the Vagaros. They're no longer the Vagaras whatever they were. They're the Vagaras League now. There is a shared sovereignty system between the Hazar Alliance of Worlds and the Aztani League. I guess maybe they were independent at some point. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This game is confusing, but I suppose geopolitics in a deep space scenario would be quite a strange thing to get your head around. I'm pleased to report that I have been able to address my problems with influence, and I momentarily got on top of my budgetary crisis, but that's been kicked out of effect while my colony is building.
I've just realised I have 51 credits left. I'm going to look for a transfer from the Bothrian. Please, Bothrians.
Construction.
I need that
I don't know,
money.
we have vetoed their wars quite a bit. Let's see. Let me see what's going with the Vagaros before we wrap up the episode. I do a research agreement. I don't know, they seem alright with me, man. So, thanks very much for joining us for another episode. I'll give you a quick rundown. The geopolitical situation can best be described as a clusterfuck. There's some space foxes up here now, which is a thing, and there's the Penthilan centralized systems who seem to be they're a transcendent empire. That sounds massively impressive. They're offering us a research agreement, which I'm going to take because they seem quite scientifically advanced. There's also a super religious race of whatever the fuck they are, squid-faced people. So I'm going to take that deal as well. Now, we have got on top of a number of our problems. I wouldn't worry too much about the energy credit deficit we're running at the moment, because that is down to this colony being under construction, and it will soon take care of itself, I think.
Can I
We've been
point one
clearing out
thing out?
aliens.
Sorry, the Bothrian leader is now a bird person. It's no longer a pig person.
Yeah,
Taken
so
over by the birds.
So they've passed legislation then that allows off-worlders to run for government. How very progressively minded of them.
Madness. Absolute madness.
The Trebran Confederation, which is we liberated them, but they still do not like us one teensy bit. Seem more willing to trade than perhaps they were historically. So, main things to take away, there's still a conflict going on between the Galactic Yazgavaz Combine and the Aztani League, which we are having great difficulty reading into because we don't have eyes on the ground. I was hoping to get some information from the people around there, see if they would perhaps give us an active sensor link, but I didn't even bother asking as soon as I thought of that, because they don't do that even if you're very closely aligned for the most part. The hierarchy of Glur have changed government again, it seems, but they are still a 3-system empire with wormhole travel. They're not bothering anybody. They're incredibly friendly to both ourselves and the League of Terran Planets.
They're great.
The United Yaxkalok Imperium, however, are growing super big.
Yeah, they're terrifying.
And I think the big thing in the next episode is going to be the Bothrians, actually, who are starting to chafe under their jigsaw piece-like positioning between a number of surrounding empires. I think eventually they will come to blows with either myself or Corrant, simply because they've got nowhere else to go. The Eurasian Union have expanded again, and I really do need to take them out of the picture, or at least subdue them so that they're not a threat that could steamroll in and take lots of liberties with my butthole before any of our allies can respond. So, yeah, I think that calls it an episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to leave a comment on this episode if you want a chance to win a copy of this game, which we are having an amazing time with because it's fantastic. And, yeah, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from Zero.
Toodles.